Let's continue with more news where the Disaster Risk Management Centre in Cape Town has requested those closest to the fire line in South Peninsula to remain alert as they continue to fight the two mountain fires in the area. The disaster management has warned that people in the vicinity of Simonstown, Scarborough, Glencairn and Stonehaven should be mindful that this situation can change at any moment, even though it is currently under control. A large section of the South Peninsula remains blanketed in smoke as a result of the vegetation fires. So for more on this, let's cross to SABC News reporter Mariska Botha. Mariska, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us at this hour. Perhaps you could just take us through some of the latest updates on the mountain fire in the South Peninsula of the province.
Sure. You are absolutely right. A little while ago there was smoke everywhere, and that's the thing about fires here in the Western Cape and especially Cape Town. One moment everything is engulfed in smoke. It's so thick. It stretches over several kilometers. I mean, we could see the smoke from this fire on Thursday and Friday in the city bowl, which is around 50 kilometers from where we are right now. So that's how thick and dense it can get very quickly. And then as soon as the wind dies down a bit, as soon as those firefighting efforts can be escalated, then it's gone. And that's exactly what happened here. The majority of that fire is absolutely under control, but there will, of course, be flare-ups. So to chat to us a little bit more about that, we have Simon Lalcock, Ward 61 councillor, who has not been sleeping since Tuesday when the fire broke out. So Simon, we were chatting a little bit earlier about the dangers of flare-ups and what we saw here a little bit earlier.
Well, it was fortunate. You and I were on our way to Cape Point to look at that fire, and it was out, and then this one started. We were just fortunate that we were here to catch it, because this fire was also out, and then it flared up from a flare-up, from an ember or spark, and the crews had been through. So you can see we've got ground crews in there now dousing every single ember up on there with the hoses, because with this wind burning, any ember will reignite. It has the potential to reignite and start the whole thing all over again. So it's out now, but the crews are on the ground and they're just going to stay there until every piece of smoke is done, and probably continue monitoring well into tomorrow.
So you're telling me the firefighters will all be working and be on standby on Christmas?
There's no doubt that there will be firefighters here for Christmas Eve. I've spoken to the chief at Simonstown Fire Station this morning, and there will be crews out here for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and probably well into the next couple of days as well.
Talk to us about the number of people that work on something like this, a flare-up like this, because we also saw it was very dramatic, the choppers flying over and bombing. Talk to us about how that all works and how many people can be at a flare-up at any given time.
As many as possible. So we've got working on fire. With the start of this, it was a code red. Code red means that they got all available resources are allocated to the fire, because, as I said, it wasn't one fire, it was like 10 fires. So they push as many as possible in. I think at one time we probably had 400 people out here. At the moment, this morning at Simonstown, I understood there were 80, but I'm not sure whether that was just the city of Cape Town, because you've got working on fire, you've got NCC with a contract for sand parks, you've got the volunteer wildfire services, so at the moment here, I would estimate you've got 20 people here. We can see them working up on the ridge line behind here with the hoses and things. We have 2 engines with the pumps and bowsers to support them. So those crews, I know that each engine has a crew of 5, and then a bowser's got probably 1 or 2 in. So you're looking at 2 of those. You're looking at 15, 12, 14, just or that alone 20. So you've got probably 30 to 40 people here.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Simon Lalcock, Ward 61 councillor. We're also going to speak to the Speaker of Cape Town, actually, Felicity Purchase, who's also a long-time resident of the Southern Peninsula here. Felicity, thank you very much for joining us on Christmas Eve. You've also been very, very busy for the past week as a resident. What is it like when you see that first plume of smoke?
Well, we always worry because, with the winds as they are here, particularly at the southern end of the Cape Peninsula, things can happen very, very fast. So we're always very aware. The residents right across the peninsula are aware of fire, and then they have a protocol how they all individually react to that. But here we have good teamwork, as Councillor Lalcock said. We have all the teams that come together officially, but we also have the residents and volunteers that assist with the residents, and also, of course, not to mention the donations and the team that manages those and the distribution of refreshments. So it's always a red alert when we see smoke. we out of habit go out and check, so yes, we do rubberneck, but the fact is we have a very much vested interest in identifying what the source of the smoke is and what its potential is, and to alert the authorities in time so that they can in fact get on the ground fast enough to be able to be effective. And even though they were here very well resourced on Tuesday, it didn't stop the wind picking up the embers and starting the fire and allowing it to there's always needs to be a bit more work done on alien vegetation, which is an ongoing thing. Some people are doing excellent work in that regard, and that's ongoing, but there always needs to be you need to be risk averse. You need to be able to monitor the entire mountain when your fire starts in the south, because depending on the wind direction, obviously you saw how this one went all the way up to Signal School, through Simonstown, and then down through the reserve and into Scarborough. Then it went up towards the Kleinplas Dam, so it moves, and it's fast. It's very fast. And in some instances, like the fire that came through, in fact, we were standing there when it came down from Red Hill, from Claver Valley down into Scarborough, and it was just like a wall of flame. And I was a bit reluctant to drive through, but the driver thought it was a good idea, but I managed to persuade him to turn around, and we took the cautious way around. But and that's what happened. Even on the fire at Glencairn Expressway, it just comes like a wall of fire, and it's so high. Always we work over life and limb, over property, and I'm very pleased to say that we did exceptionally well, the whole team, in terms of no serious injuries and no main properties. We lost a few sheds, which is obviously upsetting for the people involved, but no major properties, residential properties, were affected.
Thank you very much. That was Felicity Purchase. She's actually the Speaker of Cape Town, and as I said, a long-time resident here in Cape Town. She mentioned something very important, alien vegetation. Now, fynbos, of course, is the predominant, is the flora we have here in the Western Cape, and particularly on Table Mountain National Park. And fynbos is supposed to burn every 15 to 20 years, because that's how fynbos regenerates. But what we've seen of late, also as a contributing factor to that, is climate change, how fires burn more intensely for longer and is spread, as you heard her say, incredibly fast, and it comes at you like a wall because of alien vegetation. And the city of Cape Town particularly has had a long time project to get rid of alien vegetation like eucalyptus trees, like Port Jackson shrubs and so on, because those particular plant species makes these fires very, very dangerous and very, very difficult to fight and contain. They're just drawing my attention to something here. Let's see what's taking place at the moment. There we go. That's very interesting. Yes, we see a group of working on fire team members coming down from the hilltop there now, and they're changing shifts now because they will be dousing and they'll be monitoring here for some time to come. And if we go to the left here, if I can ask my colleague Oratile Klawele just to show you to the right, they are busy dousing there as well. This is called mop-up operations, but of course the monitoring will remain in place. About an hour ago, we had 2 helicopters flying over, one Oryx, and working on fire helicopter flying over, bombing constantly. As soon as the one dropped, the other one made it swirl around and bombed again, and they very, very quickly, we stood here and saw them bringing it under control in a matter of about half an hour to 40 minutes. And of course, these ground crews that are up there are very, very, very important, because they also help to cool the ground down, and there the wind picks up again. And that is the thing in Cape Town. Everything might be fine this moment, but if there's a little bit of area where it's still smoldering, the next moment it could go up in flames. And that's why this project of clearing alien vegetation is such a crucial one, to ensure that these massive, massive fires that we've been seeing for the last 10 years in Cape Town can be controlled better, because every fire season there are fires. It is expected. They prepare for it. We know the province has spent in excess of 10 million rand for this fire season alone. There's crews that has come in from across the country, from organizations like Working on Fire, that will be assisting this fire season. My colleague Oratile Klawele just trying to focus in there. You can see the dousing there of the shrubs, where the possibility of the fire igniting once again is very, very high. The main fire is under control. The big blaze is under control, and to date, this has been the biggest fire for the Western Cape, well, for Cape Town, actually, that we've had since the beginning of December. And as we heard JP Smith saying yesterday, every year there is a major fire in Cape Town, and they sincerely hope that this was the big one. There was no serious injury. 5 firefighters sustained minor injuries. There was a structure, an old dilapidated structure that burned down, but no members of the public were injured. No houses were destroyed as the efforts that was made was intense. And that's the thing they ensure first, make sure that people are safe, and then next is to make sure that property does not go up in flames. As we saw a few years ago, actually many houses burnt here in the Cape as a result of these vegetation fires that can run out of control as soon as the wind changes.
Mariska, thank you for bringing us that update. Of course, we'll continue to monitor developments from here and too. We'll leave that conversation there for now. Mariska Botha, bring us the latest there. South Peninsula fires. Of course, residents still urged to be cautious and vigilant, but it seems that the situation has been contained as we speak.